city of rich traditions and broad shoulders. There has been a National Hockey League team in Chicago since 1926, and since 1929, that team has played here. 1800 West Madison, Chicago Stadium. All the greats have played here. The Rafters remember. The Chicago Blackhawks joined the young National Hockey League in 1926, playing at the old Chicago Coliseum. Among the early greats was Dick Irvin. Irvin would become a legendary coach at Montreal, Toronto, and Chicago, but he began his NHL career playing for the Blackhawks. December 15, 1929, the Great Depression just weeks old, but there was a certain sizzle in Chicago that night. The Blackhawks faced off for the first time in Chicago Stadium. Soon players like Eddie Shore were coming to town, and the crowds loved it. In 1934, Charlie Gardner sparkled in the Hawks' net, and the stadium was probably rocking even then as the Hawks won their first Stanley Cup. Sadly, Gardner would die of a brain hemorrhage just weeks after the big celebration. Chicago Stadium in the 30s was a busy place. When the Hawks weren't here, everything else was. The stadium's first event was a light heavyweight boxing match. The Chicago Stadium ice was also graced by former Olympic figure skating champion and then film star Sonia Haney, who was based here along with her Hollywood Ice Review. Perhaps the most unusual event in the colorful history of Chicago Stadium was the 1932 National Football League Championship game. It was played here, indoors, on a special 80-yard surface after bad weather drove the champion Bears out of Wrigley Field. But the greatest names had to do with hockey. How about Bill Stewart, the former baseball umpire who coached the Hawks to the Stanley Cup and then got fired a few weeks later by the Hawks' eccentric owner, Major Frederick McLaughlin. The names include that of the Hawks' great goalie Glenn Hall. His sweater and number 1 hang in the stadium rafters, along with Stan Mikita's number 21 and Bobby Hull's immortal number 9. Tony Esposito's number 35 is up there too. But if you're talking about Chicago Stadium, you're talking about noise. And the biggest noise in the joint comes from this. The Barton organ, the most dramatic national anthem in any sport, gets a big boost from the ceiling-mounted pipes of the organ. At full volume, if anyone was ever crazy enough to run it at full volume, that organ supposedly could blow out every window in the arena. That's the old classic Chicago Stadium. A new Chicago Stadium is coming next year. This one will soon be history. But what history it is.
At full strength, scoreless. Hawks on 20 shots, North Stars on 12. The trip continues. North Stars fly off to Washington, D.C. area tomorrow night. They'll be staying out by the Naval Academy in Annapolis. They're going to practice there for 2 days before they play the Caps. Then down to Tampa Bay for a Thursday game after they play the Caps on Wednesday. And then on Friday they fly up to Buffalo and play the Sabres Saturday, come home on Sunday. Ready to go, Ruutu against Modano. Ruutu falls. Gilbert tied up with Craig, and Tenorti plays the puck into the Hawk zone. Chelios retrieves. Modano watches from across. The feed goes to Steve Smith. Back to Chelios. Long pass. Graham can't get to it. It comes back to the North Star goal. Tenorti clearing it around on the left, and it got by Chelios. Steve Smith back. Modano pursues. Runs into Craig. Bounces off that check. Dumps it in, but right onto Tenorti's stick. High pass, gloved down by Chelios, but shot in by Craig. North Stars changing on the fly. And the Hawks attack now at center with Larmer. Nateau couldn't get it, and Gavin clears. Driven right back in from center by Kravchuk. This is Barry putting it out to center, and it goes in the North Star players bench off Kravchuk's glove, and we'll have a face-off back in the... Well, apparently it went out with without Kravchuk touching it, because they've called the face-off back to the left of John Casey.
Bob Gainey's game plan, keep it close, checking, hard hitting, get the effort out of his players that he got yesterday. And he was a little bit, yeah.
Like that tie.
Yeah. A little bit, I guess, mystified that it took a game against the Hawks to wake his team up, and he wondered why the week had gone so badly for them, but he was happy to see that they were back on track and looking for a good game tonight, as he talked to us this afternoon.
Now the puck is cleared to center, and Larmer rink-wides it back in. Lemieux goes after it. Ludwig had him covered, and the puck is cleared, and this is Dahlin. Got Gagne coming up on his right, and broken up, and Lemieux starting the play back. Roenick now, and broken up by Dahlin to Gagne to Tenorti. Got by Larmer. Passes off. Dahlin put it in front, and it goes through to the corner. Gavin now leaving it for Gagne. Checked by Lemieux. Dahlin moves in to help out. Lemieux jabbing at it, and finally Kravchuk brings it back in the net. High pass got by Sutter, and it'll go all the way down, and we're going to have an icing call as Courtnall gets back to pick it up.
Bob Gainey in his third season with the Minnesota North Stars, this year getting a second job as general manager and head coach. Still primarily stays the head coach, Al. He has delegated much of the general manager duties. Les Jackson does most of the contracts. Doug Jarvis, a teammate of Bob's in Montreal. Jarvis, the current reigning NHL Ironman, 962 consecutive games played in the National Hockey League.
He doesn't look old enough to have played that many games.
No, he doesn't. And when you think about Steve Larmer, who is closing in with 820 games in the NHL, he still has 2 years to go to catch Jarvis.
Good chew there, Larmer. Good chew.
That is really an amazing record, and amazing men who can play that many games without an interruption.
Chelios to Sutter. Easy stop and a sweep left. The Duke to Matvichuk. Good pass. This kid makes nice passes. Broughton now to Duchesne to Courtnall. One-on-one with Chelios. Tried to put it in front. The pass hit Chelios. Now it's fed rink wide, and the Hawks come out with David Christian. The War Road native dumping it in. Noonan gives it a shot. Goes rink wide and on out to center. Chelios to Dicus. Puts it in. Matvichuk has it again. To Courtnall. Rink wide back in the zone to Ludwig. Flip. Glove down by Chelios. A bank and Madano. Can he get there now? Chelios checked by Churla, and Rutu has it. Oh, lost it. Loses it at center. North Stars come in. Derrick Smith lost it when he ran into Dicus. Churla, long shot. They score! Madano! Madano knocked it in. After the save on the long shot, the puck got away from Belfer and came out in front of the net, and Madano got there and gave it a whack for his 8th goal of the season. Here it is, 1-0 Minnesota, Mike Madano.
Always a good play. Put the puck on net. Derrick Smith doing the work to bring it into the zone. Shane Churla just put it at the net. He knows Mike Madano's on the ice. Takes a quick step by Chris Chelios and beats Belfer. The North Stars, who had 2 goals disallowed in the first period, now get the first goal of the game in 3:09 of the third.
Hey, there's the bench, a happy bench. That's a big goal in a tight checking game like this. Low scoring, 1-0. Madano getting it, and he beat Dirk Graham to the puck. It looked like Graham was going to have it all the way. I was really surprised when he didn't get it, and Madano just hustled in there to sweep it in. Here's a shot by Roenick, and that is turned aside. Churla will get an assist, probably Derrick Smith. Now they puck in the Minnesota zone from behind the net. Tenorti works by Larmer, comes to center, dumps it in. Now Steve Smith has it. Chelios clearing it out. And the fans getting a little restless here. Now we've got a whistle, and with 4 minutes and 1 second gone in the third period, the Stars lead the Hawks 1-0. This is North Stars hockey. Back in the Hawk zone, Casera skates it back of Belfer. Checks traffic. Now up the left side, Kravchuk lost it as he ran into Dahlin. Dahlin to Gagne. The shot, the rebound, and it went wide to the right. Getting to that puck and having a shot at it was Gavin. The Hawks back in offside, a two-line pass. Derrick Smith getting an assist along with Churla on that goal by Modano. Derrick Smith just called up from Kalamazoo, played his first game yesterday, the 3-0 game at Met Center. He was Kalamazoo's leading goal scorer. He had 10 goals down there in 14 games, 6 of them at even strength, 3 on power plays, 1 shorthanded. One of his goals was a game winner, so he's had a good stint down there at Kalamazoo, and now he's back up here where he knows he belongs. And he played a great game yesterday, and he's contributed an assist on the only game here tonight. Now Chelios to Ruutu, trying to dump it in, but it goes out of play. Ruutu with Buffalo last season against the North Stars played in 2 of the 3 games between the Stars and Sabres. He did not have any points in the games, no goals or assists. He had 5 shots on goal. He was even in both players, took 4 penalties in the 2 games he played for 16 minutes. 2 minors for roughing, 1 for elbowing, and he also had a misconduct. Ruutu, he's had a bit of a short fuse, but a great talent. Christian Ruutu chasing there against Tenorti, forcing him to dump it in. Chelios leaving it for Smith. Craig tried to steal it, but Smith still has it. Overpasses Ruutu, who chases with Tenorti. Tenorti and Ruutu deflected. It goes up over the glass and out of play.
You're enjoying great hockey action, but for your first look at the night's news, join the Minnesota 9 team for Minnesota 9 tonight. Weeknights at 9, right here on 9. And Tuesday night at 7, he's mad, he's bad, he's back. Make his day. Al Clint Eastwood stars in Magnum Force. Tuesday night at 7, right here on 9.
Gotta watch that one.
That's a good one. That's the one with David Soul and whatever. And now Gary Busey's not in that movie, but there he is. He was in Lethal Weapon, the Buddy Holly story years ago. I'm pressed to remember what else, but the Stars come out in Chicago as well.
Face off to Case, his left, back to the point. Kravchuk shot, and now Portnoy tipping it to center. Noonan dropping it off. Kravchuk lobs it back in. This will be icing if Barry wins the race, and he does. And they'll go back in the Chicago zone for the face-off. Chicago trying to avoid being swept in back-to-back games for the second time this year. They've swept back-to-backers once. They've been swept once. They have split once. And on 2 occasions, they have a win and a tie. But they lost yesterday, and if they lose tonight, they'll be swept in back-to-back games for the second time this year.
It's a difficult problem unique to the National Hockey League and the scheduling, Al. Some of these back-to-back nights are just plain brutal. The North Stars have a really tough one this week.
Yeah, the North Stars have been lucky so far. This is only their 3rd. This is the Hawks' 6th. There's a shot by Ludwig. He really blew that one off the glass. Clearing attempt kept in, but now it's brought back by Roenick. Heading for the slot. Hit the post. Roenick again. He scores! Got his own rebound. Jeremy Roenick at 5:26. And that's his 12th.
Well, bad toe or not, Jeremy Roenick has 1 goal in the NHL, and that's to be the best player who ever played in the game. He follows his own shot. Nobody there to tie him up. And he puts one up over John Casey's right shoulder. The first shot hits the post. Roenick just hustles after that puck to get it before anybody else. Puts another shot on net. And Chicago's first-round pick, 8th overall in the '88 entry draft, ties this hockey game at 1.
Good shot, a high shot. Really put it in the top shelf. 1-1 now as Chelios fires it in.